So for more reaction, we go to New York now. We welcome Gideon Taylor, the chair of operations at the World Jewish Restitution Organization. We appreciate your time, Gideon, on this day. Thank you so much. Let's start with your response to this bill. How much of a setback is this for Holocaust survivors and their families right now?
I think it's very disappointing, both for the substance and also for the symbolism and for the messaging. What this bill is saying to Holocaust survivors is that you don't matter, your claims don't matter, and the history doesn't matter. And instead, Poland has criticized the campaign and the effort to ask them to stop this legislation by saying this was Poland was a victim of German Nazis, which is true. However, what we are seeking, and what Israel is seeking, and what the United States is seeking, and other governments and Jews and non-Jews are asking for, is to address what Poland did after the war, what the Polish communist government did after the war, and simply to return properties that were taken from people. That's what it's about. It's not a complicated, difficult request. It's a simple request. And unfortunately, this step of Poland is a step backwards, not a step forwards.
So, Gideon, to that exact point, Foreign Minister Yair Lapid saying no law will change history. He says the Polish stance smacks of anti-Semitism. How do you see this bill impacting relations between Israel and Poland, which, as you've mentioned, have already been taking strain since 2018 when that law was passed, penalizing those arguing that Poland or Polish people were in any way responsible for the Holocaust? Your thoughts?
I think this is a very serious blow to the relationship between Poland, not only Poland and Israel, but Poland and the international Jewish community. I mean, for the Jewish community, the issue of how property is addressed in Poland, it's not a financial issue, ultimately. It's not about the amount of money, but for many Holocaust survivors, a building, a small house in a town, a factory, a shop, it's the last symbolic connection that they have to a world that was destroyed, to where their families came from, their last connection to their roots. So that's why this issue runs deep. It's not about how much or how many. It's about what this is and what this means to Holocaust survivors and to the Jewish world and to Israel and to the United States government and to others. It's very powerful symbolic statement and very disappointing. And we're hoping that wiser heads in Poland will prevail and say, this is important. This is important for Israel, it's important for the Jewish world. And here, restitution is a way to connect with people who lived in Poland for 1,000 years, and instead not to do in 2021, to take away and to extinguish what limited rights people still have today.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate your insight, and certainly will be watching the developments and the reaction across the globe. Gideon Taylor, the chair of operations at the World Jewish Restitution Organization, speaking to us from New York. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.